Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on these hoes. Hi.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Today we are here to do a part 2 on finding Gabby on surviving YouTube. So there was a lot of things that weren't necessarily brought into fruition the last time we met here. So there was a lot of unanswered questions. We still didn't know her whereabouts. There was no body found or, anything in that nature. So we had truly no idea what was going on. All we know is that a new YouTube channel was started by a couple, Gabby and Brian, that went on the road cross country in her van. And then all of a sudden the young lady vanishes. So let's pretty much pick right up where we left off. If you want to hear the beginning of this story, please check out part 1. On that note, let's get right into it. So on August 12th, Petito and Laundrie got into a physical fight in Utah, according to a police report. Officers from Moab Police Department said they responded to a potential domestic violence incident between Petito and Laundrie on August 12th, after a man identified as Christopher contacted police. The responding officer, Daniel Scott Robbins, followed the van and eventually pulled it over, noting that the van was traveling 45 miles per hour in a 15 miles per hour zone, according to the police report. Then the officer observed the van cross a double yellow line, switch lanes, and swerve to the right, colliding with the curb. When Robbins approached the van, he found Petito crying in the passenger seat. He wrote in the report that she cried and breathed heavily during their conversation. She told the officer that she had been arguing with Laundrie and that she was struggling with her mental health. Laundrie also told the officer of an emotional strain and ongoing arguments between her and Petito. According to the police report, Laundrie said Petito struck him and she thought he was going to drive away in their van following an argument. After evaluating the totality of the circumstances, I do not believe the situation escalated to the level of domestic assault as much as that a mental health crisis, Robbins wrote. So a quick sidestep. In this police report that is made the day that Brian and Gabby got pulled over due to someone calling the police on them, in the report it states that Gabby is the suspect and that Brian is the victim. That is mad crazy. I feel that if the police officers did their job instead of giving Brian privilege because he's a white man, and most, police officers that pull over white men, especially if they're not confrontational at all, they do give them the privilege to feel as if they're not, there's nothing wrong here. He's completely fine. This is just a situation of blah, blah, blah. The police dropped the ball on many different ways in this situation. If Brian was arrested and Gabby was arrested because they both assaulted each other, maybe Gabby wouldn't have died. If Gabby was arrested because of this alleged assault on Brian, maybe she wouldn't have died. If the police would have examined Gabby's arm while she was in the back of the squad car to see how red it was, there was definitely some physical trauma that had just happened to her, and it's probably why she was so shaken up, because of what just happened to her. Gabby was fearful that something would happen to Brian, I feel, in my opinion, if she told the truth in what happened within that situation, which made Brian the aggressor in him physically assaulting her. Okay? I'm not going to say that Gabby didn't respond in physical retaliation, but I do think Brian started the situation, especially since he has this alleged anxiety and, he can't take a lot of pressure, and whatnot. So I do believe she was protecting him within that moment, which a lot of women do. So I don't understand why the cops didn't question, the fact that obviously you look at her arm, there's this visible, that it's red and could bruise due to whatever happened to her. She can barely breathe, as she's speaking, and Brian is just standing there calm but looks distraught. Who do you think is the aggressor within this situation if she can barely keep her cool? But once again, they dropped the ball. I just feel that if they would have took this situation right here more serious, maybe Brian would not have killed Gabby.
Driver is showing some obscure driving, possibly intoxicated. Currently doing 45 miles an hour. Zone through here is 25. Oh! Subject just hit the curb. Correction, speed limit is 15. I'm about 3/4 of a mile into the arches, just before the gate. You want to place your vehicle into park and go ahead and turn it off for me?
Yeah, sure.
No, park?
Oh, it is in park, yeah.
Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, alright? What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
I'm Brian.
Gabby, Brian? Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got the stuff, flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving, I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
You got it, buddy. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I have the female that was on the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, some days I have really bad OCD, and
Okay.
I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I guess my vibe is like I am like in a bad mood, and I was just saying I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That was my
That's
job,
cool.
and I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog.
And not to literally blame the police department, so let me clarify a little bit more with that. More so of me stating that once the police get involved, people take things more serious. So if they would have charged them and put them in jail even for the knife or disorderly conduct, which is technically what they were charged with, and you can technically be arrested for, I believe that the family would have took more notice to the situation to feel that, something bad was happening. If they're constantly contacting their family and they want them not to worry, they're going to place it in that manner. But if you're telling me everything is fine every time I talk to you yet you're arrested, the both of you, due to actions that you're doing against each other. Maybe we need to get involved. Maybe you need to come off of this trip. Maybe the family would have stayed more in contact, because with them being cross country, they're going to hit a lot of dead zones to where they're not going to have cell phone reception and things in that manner. But with them being together, it gives the family comfort to know that, they're not alone. But if you know certain things are happening, especially as a parent, you're going to get involved. They didn't feel the need to super get involved with this situation, just for the simple fact of they kept telling them everything was okay every time that they reached out. But with the police getting involved and with them having to contact their families and tell them that they are in jail, I think the family would have looked more into this trip instead of just letting them go all willy-nilly. Why do you think it took the family so long to notice that Gabby was missing, and whatnot? That's why it took them a week or so, to figure out that, she has not contacted us. And now it seems that she's doing it at will to make them worry to file a missing persons. I think they would have did the report sooner if, especially, they got into an altercation and got arrested. So that's all I'm saying. If the police would have arrested at least one of them, then the severity of the situation would have shown, instead of them give them a slap on the wrist, let them pull off, and now this girl is gone. Just saying.
Come on over here. You're not in any trouble right now. So, tell me what's going on.
She just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her. So, I locked the car and I walked away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up her own little website blog and everything. So I give her time. And we really had a nice morning, if anything, but she just got worked up because we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go like arches before the Sunday time.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had her cell phone in her hand. That's why I was pushing her away, because she wanted I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute, because she was getting really worked up. And then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me, so I got in the way. I was just trying to, I know I shouldn't push, but I was just trying to push her away to go, let's just take a minute, step back and breathe. And she got me with her phone.
Can I see your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here.
Oh, that's from a wire.
That's from a wire?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about hitting that curb?
Hitting the curb was her grabbing the wheel.
She grabbed the wheel?
Yeah. She said, I can't believe we're getting pulled over, and then she grabbed the wheel.
What about the speed? Did she take over the pedal on you?
If I was going fast, I'm sorry. No, it was probably just the moment of, I'm still shaking now. The adrenaline, seeing the lights flashing up, and then her gripping the wheel. So if I sped up, I'm sorry about that. Or if I was speeding beforehand, I'm sorry about that.
Side note, pay attention to their stories. Their stories are completely different because they are both lying. Gabby is lying to protect Brian, and Brian is lying to protect himself. Gabby states that the morning was a terrible morning, basically from the time they woke up to now, trying to blame it on her being OCD, stating that the argument started basically because Ryan's a man and he needs to be more tidy because it infuriates me, with him knowing I have OCD but still creating certain messes. This is where the argument allegedly started, coming from Gabby. When they pull Brian out of the car, his story is pretty different. He states that the morning was great. He also states that this pretty much just occurred. He states that Gabby was obstructing his view and scratched him allegedly in the face due to her trying to make him pull over because a cop was pulling them over. But the altercation was happening before the cops started pulling them over. The cops did not have his lights on yet before they hit the curb. So that means that they didn't notice the police immediately, meaning they're going 45 miles per hour and the police is going 15 miles an hour doing the speed limit, which the police states it took him a minute to catch up to them, meaning they're driving much faster. When they hit the curb, I do not believe that that's the reason the officer kind of just with shock. I think the officer did that because there was fighting. They were swinging on each other. Gabby was swinging on Brian and Brian was swinging on her. Brian admits when he gets out of the car that he shoved her. He did not shove her, he hit her. I think that the cops' view, especially them being in a van, he couldn't actually see the altercation, but he's seen enough to know that there was some fighting that was going on. Even more reason to arrest one of them. You clearly see them assaulting each other. That is against protocol. So the cop went against his better judgment. And the dispatcher stated from the beginning that This was a domestic on a man physically assaulting a woman. Christopher, the anonymous police caller, stated that a female was being attacked by a male, that he hit her multiple times. With Gabby crying and her face being flushed, Caucasian people especially, they turn red when they cry. So if she had marks on her face or redness on her face, they're not going to be able to tell within that moment because her whole body pretty much is red. Also, Gabby had some tan lines on her and some tanning on her arms, but there are also a lot of redness. It also looks a little bit as like a bruising, if you will. Clearly, those are hand marks that are on her arm. But let's keep going. Let's get back into the police report. So, Robbins noted that Petito appeared to be in a confused and emotional state. He wrote he recommended that Laundrie and Petito remain separate for the night to relax and spend time apart. While they both expressed they didn't want to separate, Robbins wrote Petito kept the van while Laundrie checked into a hotel for the evening, according to the police report. Now, another quick little side note. As a man, I would never want my woman to stay outside in a van alone by herself. I would have preferred her be in a secure building inside of a hotel room, sleeping alone. At least there's cameras. I know she's okay. Versus to her sleeping outside by herself. It shows how, Brian really, it's definitely a narcissist, how he just wanted Gabby to feel as bad as possible. He wanted Gabby to literally be in the doghouse. He wanted to use his power against her and humiliate her in any way, shape, or form, that he could. So it speaks volumes with him letting her sleep outside alone in the van versus to him being in a secure building, away from any harm, so what a man, if you ask me. Back into the police report. Another officer, Eric Pratt, noted that Laundrie and Petito reported they are in love and engaged to be married and desperately didn't wish to see anyone charged with a crime. Pratt said both Petito and Laundrie told him that Petito suffered from serious anxiety. Another quick side note, before Laundrie and Petito, Gabby and Brian, went on this trip, it is alleged that they were not engaged. It is alleged that they called the engagement off, and this information comes from Gabby's mother, Miss Petito. Her mother states that they called the engagement off before they left. So that's already a sign. I think that Gabby used it as an excuse, as in they were too young to be married. But when you get engaged, you can be engaged for years. You can be engaged as long as you need to. So there's no literal, rush to get married. I feel that Gabby called the engagement off for a reason. And I do think allegedly it was for cheating. I think that is why there was so much arguing going on this trip, with them being on a van in close quarters with one another. There's no privacy. So some things that you wouldn't notice before, you kind of start to notice, like certain text messages, certain conversations, him walking away, having certain conversations. It can build anxiety, like really badly. So I do think that, he was cheating on her, and that is why she allegedly, called off the engagement. So once again, back into the article. Police body cam from that day showed Petito distraught and crying, talking to officers. Petito was recorded apologizing to Laundrie for being so mean in an earlier fight. She also describes hitting Laundrie, which she said she did to get his attention, that they were being followed by a police officer. Once again, her doing all the apologizing, her saying this. What about Brian? He did nothing? They say nothing about him apologizing or anything. Once again, making Gabby feel just, using her weakness at that time and really preying on her to make her feel badly. And now he had an audience, to do so. A shame on you with these officers. So very unfortunate for her. Laundrie, back into the article, who had also been posting on the road trip on Instagram, ceased posting to Instagram one day later on August 13th. Now, this is building up to the moments to where no one starts to hear from Gabby. So Petito's father said he placed an Uber Eats order for the couple on August 21st when they were staying in Salt Lake City. There was a power outage. She said she didn't have Wi-Fi, so I ordered her some food, Joseph Petito told KSL. I know it was in Salt Lake City. It was the last time I spoke to her, and that was on August 21st. Petito's parents said the couple left Salt Lake City on August 24th. Both of Petito's parents said the couple departed Salt Lake City for Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming 3 days later. On August 24th, where they believe they spent about 2 days, they told KSL. Schmidt said she last spoke to Petito when she received a FaceTime call from her on August 24th, as she and Laundrie departed Salt Lake City prior to her disappearance. Petito would FaceTime her mother about 3 times a week while on the trip, Schmidt told CBS New York. Petito posted to Instagram for the final time on August 25th. The photo showed her smiling, holding a small pumpkin with the caption, "Happy Halloween." Like her second to last post, on August 25th, Instagram post didn't include any information on her location. The photos, however, appeared to be captured in the front of a mural featuring monarch butterflies titled Monarch and Moda. That artist, Jane Kim, painted at the Monarch, an artistic hub in Ogden, Utah, which is about a 45-minute drive from Salt Lake City. Her family received texts from Petito's phone until August 30th. Schmidt said Petito last texted her about losing cell service in Yasmin on August 30th, but she said she didn't believe the message was from her daughter. Petito said she was headed towards Yellowstone National Park, Schmidt added. She seemed okay to me at the time, other than I don't know where the relationship was going with the boyfriend, Schmidt told KSL. Another quick side note, the mom keeps stating basically that Gabby and Brian were not really together. So I don't know if they were going on this trip to try to work things out. But as far as it seems, there was trouble in paradise before they even left. So once again, back into the article. Her mother reported Petito missing on September 11th. The Suffolk County Police Department said in a statement on Monday they were investigating Petito's disappearance after Schmidt reported her missing at 6:55 p.m. on Saturday. The police said the van the couple was traveling in, the 2012 Ford Transit van with Florida license plate, had been recovered. Laundrie has yet to speak with authorities and has declined to speak with the media directly, offering comment instead through a lawyer. We showed up, we see the vehicle, we take the vehicle. Northport, Florida, police spokesperson Josh Taylor told Insider on Tuesday. We make an attempt to talk with Brian, and his family declined to make him available, and they gave us information for his attorney. In a statement Monday, the Northport Police Department called Petito's disappearance odd, but said it had no evidence that a crime had been committed in Northport. Laundrie issued a statement through his lawyers on September 14th. This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and Laundrie family. Stephen Bertolino, the lawyer representing the Laundrie family, said in a statement to Insider on Tuesday. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Ms. Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Ms. Petito is successful and that Ms. Petito is reunited with her family. The statement continued on the advice of counsel that Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment. Petito's family also released a statement on September 14th imploring Laundrie to help with the investigation. On September 15th, police named Laundrie as the person of interest in Petito's disappearance, and the families released more statements. Northport police said in a news conference Wednesday morning that Laundrie returned to Florida, home where he and Petito had been living with his parents on September 1st, 10 days before she was reported missing. Authorities repeated Wednesday that Laundrie has refused requests to be interviewed by investigators. Also, on September 15th, Petito's family released another statement calling for Laundrie's help. Brian, your silence is reprehensible, a family lawyer said. We beg you to do the right thing and help us bring Gabby home. Brian, whatever happened in Wyoming happened. The only thing you can control now is what to do now. Tell us where Gabby is. You tarnish your love for her with your silence. Laundrie's lawyer put out another statement on Wednesday, reaffirming that Laundrie would refuse to cooperate with the investigation. In my experience, intimate partners are often the first person law enforcement focuses their attention on in cases like this, and the warning in any statement that will be made will be used against you is true. Regardless of whether my client had anything to do with Petito's disappearance, the statement from the Berlinos said, as such, on the advice of counsel, Mr. Laundrie is not speaking on this matter. Side note, another reason why I feel that Brian's family needs to be brought up on charges. They are literally hiding him. They knew that he was gone. If he was not there, why are you speaking for him as if you are in direct contact? Even more reason for Brian's parents especially to be arrested. They are harboring a fugitive at this point in time, before the body was found, allegedly. On September 17th, police said Laundrie had reportedly also gone missing from the family home. Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor told CNN that the Laundrie family informed authorities he's been missing since Tuesday, September 14th. We've been trying all week to talk to his family and to talk to Brian, and now they call us here on Friday. We've gone to the home, and now they're saying they have not seen their son, Taylor told CNN. Side note, if they hadn't seen him, why were they giving statements for him? I just don't understand that. Is that not obstruction of justice? They're affecting an investigation at this point in time by withholding information. Why are these people not arrested? I really just don't get it. But let's continue. His attorney also said that the FBI had gone to the Laundrie family home and removed some of Brian's items. His parents told authorities Friday that he had left to go hiking at a Carlton Reserve and never returned home. Northport Police said Monday that they had exhausted all avenues in searching Carlton Reserve for Laundrie. Now, another side note. If the family knew that he was going to the Carlton Reserve, who goes on a reserve on a hike when your fiance is missing? He never goes to look for her. He never states anything. So obviously he already knew the unthinkable. He already knew all of this. And then again with the parents, Brian had been home since September 1st. He clearly was there. There's proof because so was the van. But what if Brian never came there? What if Brian's father or mother went and got the van from wherever he left it, gave him money, and he was gone ever since then, and they were throwing the police off of the trail by pretending that Brian was there the whole time? I believe that these parents need to be arrested. Once again, they are obstructing justice. Okay? Laundrie issued a statement through his lawyers on September 14th. The Petito's family also released a statement on September 14th imploring Laundrie to help with the investigation. On September 15th, police named Laundrie as a person of interest in Petito's disappearance, and the families released more statements. On September 17th, police said that Laundrie had reportedly also gone missing from his family home. Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor told CNN that the Laundrie's family informed authorities he's been missing since Tuesday, September 14th. We've been trying all week to talk to his family, to talk to Brian, and now they've called us here on Friday. We've gone to the home and they're saying now they have not seen their son, Taylor told CNN. So we are working through those details as we speak. It is another twist in this story. Taylor said the interaction on Friday was the first police had with the Laundrie family since Petito had reportedly disappeared. Laundrie's lawyer confirmed the reports, telling local reporters Friday, be advised that the whereabouts of Brian Laundrie are currently unknown. Authorities said they found a body matching Petito's description on September 19th. The body was found at a remote campsite in Bridger-Tenton National Forest. During a news conference on Sunday night, FBI agent Charles Jones said human remains were discovered consistent with description of Petito near the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. An autopsy confirmed the identity of the remains they found, which will be conducted. The body was discovered not long after family travel vloggers Jen and Kyle Burnham upload a video to social media recorded from a pro camera mounted on their vehicle that appeared to show a van matching the description of the one of Petito's and where Laundrie were traveling. The video captured August 27th around 6 p.m. showed the van parked on the side of the windy road in the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. It appeared there was no one inside the van at the time, Jen Bune told Insider. She submitted footage of this to the FBI around 1 a.m. Sunday, she said. Brian Laundrie's parents' home was searched by authorities on September 20th. On September 21st, the FBI confirmed that Petito's body had been identified and the initial determination for the manner of death was homicide. Now, with all of this information that we have gained, let's jump back into some missing links that a lot of people don't know. So originally, when the police was called by this man, he states to the dispatcher that a woman was being attacked by a man, stating that Gabby was being attacked by Brian. Now, he didn't know who these people were, so he couldn't name them by name, so he states man and woman. So what he alleged to the dispatcher is that a man was physically assaulting a woman. He slapped her and hit her a few times. They continued the argument. They kind of paced back and forth. Brian assaulted Gabby again, allegedly. They got in the car. They drove away. After that is when the police picked them up or pulled them over after waiting for them to, swerve the road and, all of that, and then decide to pull them over because they were going 45 miles per hour in the 15 miles per hour zone. But even the dispatcher states again, was he hitting her? And the caller says, yes. So there we go again with the whole privilege, situation. Like I always thought that Gabby was responding to hitting Brian with Brian hitting her first. He has a very short fuse is what it looks like, and he's very narcissistic. So when the police pulled him over, they looked at the alleged abrasion on his face, which was from the slap, or not necessarily abrasion, but red mark on his face from Gabby allegedly slapping him. Brian also never had on this necklace that he wore. It was gone. So he could have just took it off, or in the fight that he was having with Gabby, maybe she accidentally ripped it off. So with that being said, there's that privilege again, to where the initial call that the dispatcher got was them stating that a woman was being physically assaulted by a male. And still, when the police pulled them over, it was still more so of the energy going towards Gabby, because like I said, women, especially in domestic relationships, are protective of the man. They don't want them to get in trouble. And like I said, the officers really dropped the ball in this situation, because they don't even state that necessarily when they do pull them over. Like, this woman was being attacked by this man. That is the report, not the report of Gabby being the aggressor. And also, Brian never states that he laid a finger on Gabby, and neither did Gabby. Once again, her protecting him. Once again, Brian being given privilege because he's a white male. I just feel that if he was another nationality, this would have been an issue. I know police are trained to de-escalate the situation, but still at the same time, he's not going to literally hit her in front of you. So if you're looking at Gabby, when she was pulled over, you can see that she had red marks on her arm, and things in that nature. Brian was lifting up his shirt and all of that. And there was no bruises or scratches or red marks or anything like that on him. But they didn't make Gabby necessarily do that. I'm assuming because she's a woman. But I think if Gabby would have lifted up her shirt or something in that regard, I think it would have shown something. I think that she had bruising and things on her due to Brian physically assaulting her. So let's keep going. Another thing, the family vloggers that were recording and just so happened to get the van that was allegedly, Gabby's and Brian's on camera, but it was vacant and no one was in it or near it at the time they got it on recording. So, more reason for us to believe. Did Brian's family go and get that van? There's no proof that Brian ever went back home. No one has seen Brian at the residence. No one's seen him come in. Nobody's seen him outside or anything. They're basically just going off of the attorney, the family attorney, and Brian's mother and father's word at this point. I believe it's a strong possibility that Brian contacted his family. His father went and got the van, maybe cleaned it for him, brought it back and parked it at the home. Helped Brian not necessarily escape, but Brian is really good out in the wilderness. Like, he can live out there. He's lived out in certain parts of the forest or woods for months. He's lived out there for a very long time, so he can adapt to living out in the wild, if you will. So I think that his father may have met up with him allegedly and gave him some money, maybe some maps and things, or whatever he could to help guide him on his venture of getting away. And they brought the van home. Since there was no body or anything like that, there was no crime. So instead of the family letting them know that they didn't know where he was, they have the attorneys write a letter so that they can keep themselves out of hot water until the SHIT hits the fan, if you will. So technically they are accessories if they can prove it. At this point, it does seem as if the family has been allied. Why not tell the police department immediately when you release the statement that you do not know where he is? So if you knew where he was, where was he? Was he home this entire time? Did he leave? Was he going places? Was he visiting friends? Besides him leaving and allegedly going hiking, the family act as if, he just kind of came home and just stayed in the basement the whole time. And then all of a sudden just disappeared. They went down there to say something to him and he was just gone, type of situation. No, I don't believe that. I believe that Brian never came home. I think the family went and got the van to make it look as if, Gabby came back, but didn't want to involve themselves in the investigation by keeping their lips sealed. We don't know anything. We don't know where Gabby is. We don't know if she came up. We don't know anything. The family had information on Brian, but they had no information on Gabby, which is even more strange since the van is back. So why would the family feel the need to say nothing of Gabby? Not, we don't know where she is. She didn't come back with Brian. Brian came back alone. They said nothing. They also said nothing to the Petito family. That is admitted guilt even on the parents' behalf. At this point, it doesn't make sense. So your son came home without his fiance. She's just gone and you know nothing. You had no questions for him. You just made him dinner. And as skeptical as Brian was acting and as weird the behavior of the other bystanders that had seen him in his erratic behavior, the parents didn't note anything of that. So this situation is weird, and I think that the parents are definitely involved. Thank you, everybody, for watching and supporting your boy, SeanDavieWay. Once again, justice for Gabby. We will be coming back with a part 3. Dog the Bounty Hunter has gotten involved. Also, Brian's ex-girlfriend has a lot to say about this situation. So we'll definitely get in that too. So make sure you come check out part 3 of the disappearance and finding Gabby Petito. Once again, rest in peace to her and sending prayers to her family. And until part 3, bye.
Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. Hair flipping on these hoes. Hi.